Right then, so unsurprisingly, I was an idiot, but we got away with it. Hello everyone and welcome back to the final part of the regular season here of Careering On with Season 6 with Borussia Mönchengladbach, the final two games of the Bundesliga campaign, our first campaign outside of England. I must say it's the final episode of the regular season because we do of course have the Nations League finals to look forward to with France, which will be next time, but we have got the small matter of the Bundesliga to wrap up, and we are going to start on the rules page for the competition, because all season long I've been merrily saying, yeah, we just need to worry about the gap back to the team in fifth, because as long as we get in fourth, we'll qualify for the Champions League. Well, the reason I said that was because of the table from last season, which very clearly shows the top four sides all qualifying for the Champions League. But it appears that the German teams have done so poorly in European competition over the course of the save that, well, Germany have been overtaken by France, which means the top four leagues with the automatic qualification places for the top four sides are England, Spain, Italy and France, and, well, Germany are now the fifth ranked team, which means they only get two places, and indeed only the top two qualify for the group stage. So it's a big fall from grace for the Germans. So very simply, that meant that what we should have been worrying about was the gap to the fourth place team, because fourth place would only get us into the Europa League, which we don't want to be in. We were in that this season. We want to be in the Champions League, and well, yeah, so that was a bit of an issue. We got into a situation where we were guaranteed fourth because Dortmund fell away, and I was happy, but we didn't say we qualified for the Champions League, so I was a bit confused, and that's when I discovered this. But it doesn't matter in the end, because if we go back to the news screen, we have now qualified for the Champions League because other results, specifically the results of Hoffenheim, went our way, and we've survived. We're not going to get sacked. We have done what the board wanted. We've qualified for the Champions League. Not much in the way of financial reward for that. £35 million is all we've got, and then 80k of wage budget. Not really what I'm looking for. So we might still think about moving on if there's another club available. But I mean, if we stay here, then that's not too bad. We've got a pretty decent squad, and we could probably sell a few players, and then we can have a little bit more money and freedom to spend. But anyway, even if we do leave, then we leave having had, I think, a successful time. We've set out to qualify for the Champions League. It would have been nice to have maybe done better in the DFB Pokal and the Europa League, but we have qualified for the Champions League, and that is the most important thing, and I consider that a successful season. So how did we do it then? Well, it was in part down to other results going our way, which we'll check out in a second, but we did beat Hertha Berlin first of all, 2 goals from Silas Wamanga-Tuka and 1 from Bülent Bolo, getting the job done. It was a pretty good win. They did equalise, but we managed to see it out for all 3 points. We came from behind to beat Freiburg, Ivanusic and Harry Wilson getting the goals in that one. And then we drew 0-0 with Augsburg. This was the result I thought got us in the Champions League, and then I realised it hadn't, and was then obviously very disappointed that we dropped 2 points. But it didn't matter because, Hoffenheim lost their game. We then beat Hanover 1-0, which got the job fully done, nice and sealed. And as we can see from the table, or rather this year's table, we are guaranteed to be in the Champions League. We cannot finish lower than third. We're not guaranteed to finish in second. Leipzig could still overtake us, but hopefully the results today will go our way and we can get second place and automatic group qualification without having to go through the qualification round. But apparently we've already got the points record for the club. 67 points in a season is a new team record for Borussia Mönchengladbach. Obviously they played 4 fewer matches in Germany, but that's an overall record, or is it just for the sort of within the years of the save? I think it's an overall record. It's an overall record, so that's really quite good. And I mean, you've seen the table, so it's obvious, but yeah, Bayern Munich have won the title. We can't win the title now. That was pretty obvious for the last few weeks because they're just really good. But yeah, just to officially confirm, that they are the champions of the Bundesliga again. Right then, 2 games to absolutely seal Champions League group stage qualification. First of all, Schalke, a team who, of course, didn't hire us last season. Even though it was my preferred destination, we've ended up in Mönchengladbach instead, and I think definitely the right decision given how well our season has gone compared to theirs. Now the team for this one is going to be as strong as possible. I think hopefully if we get the job done today and then we can't be overhauled in second place, then we can rotate a little bit, play a few other players that haven't had much game time in the game against Cologne, because it hopefully won't matter. But yeah, we've got to get the job done today, which means Kragler is going to be in goal, Bradovich, Ginter, Elvedi and Kelek is the back 4, Guendouzi, Zakaria and Ivanusic in midfield with Wilson on the left and Bolo on the right, and Silas Wamangituka up front, because Pinamonti has been pretty poor in recent weeks, to the point that actually Wamangituka's got more goals than him this season, so he deserves to start on merit. And then, like most of our players who are wanted, by the way, as well, they're wanted by Leicester, presumably because they're missing our transfer judgment. Right then, let's beat Schalke, let's get the job done, and get ourselves qualified for the Champions League group stage proper. They've got Johann Scholz up front. He was for a time the top scorer in the division. I think he probably still is, looking at that. He is 15 goals, level with Budnik, but very good, promising striker. Does he not got great finishing, but he's putting the ball in the back of the net. That's what all really matters. They've got this guy on the right hand side, Patrick Albel, physically amazing. He's so quick, could be an Olympic sprinter. Not bad everywhere else either. I think we're gonna shortlist him. Schalke have a very good academy, which is why I kind of wish we'd have ended up there. But that's just how things go. Right then, first highlight. We don't need much to do it, only really a point because of our goal difference, but all 3 today would be good. Ginter to Elvedi. Can we work something? I mean, we've been a little bit sloppy at the back recently, but Ginter finds Wilson, who finds Braderick, who just about beats the defender, and it puts the ball in. And Silas Wamangituka is there to fire home. He's been in pretty good goal scoring form towards the back end of the season, while Pinamonti has fallen off, and Bradovich gets very lucky, but Silas with an excellent header to make it 1-0. And I have, after we've been doing this, a corner comes in from Wilson, and Silas is there again, his second of the game, 14th of the season. Prolific stuff from him as we close out the campaign. Lovely deft header, nodding it in, very casual, 2-0, and we are getting in to the Champions League group stage proper. Just to say as well, I mean, we've been doing this save for 6 years, and I finally remembered that I should probably replace this completely useless box that we never even looked at with the latest scores. That would make things a lot easier for us. Chance for Schalke towards the break. Elvedi clears it though, and it's not quite over yet, but we need to make sure we win this one, because RB Leipzig are winning their game. So in order to completely see them off, the only way to do that is 3 points. And a lovely move from Schalke. Albel with a fierce shot, but he goes wide, and we can potentially get ourselves a third before the break. Harry Wilson, Silas, Ivanusek taking their time, and Wilson takes the shot on past Diogo Costa in the goal for the opponents today. The team who, they could have been them in this situation. Could have been them. I felt like they had a better squad than Mönchengladbach, but they didn't want to hire us. Mönchengladbach did, and they are definitely reaping the success of that one. 3-0 at half time. This one looks pretty much done. Hour gone in this one, and any more goals would be lovely. And Bolo hits the post. Still another chance. We're coming forwards again in search of a fourth. That would be very nice indeed. Bradovich, Ivanisic, Guendouzi, Zakaria curls one in. Lovely stuff. The whip on that one, you could see it even from this vantage point. Let's have a look on the 3D. Bradovich and Ivanusek exchanging passes. Guendouzi, simple layoff to Zakaria. First time strike. I mean, not as much whip on it as I thought, but it's a lovely hit. It's 4-0. This one was done a long time ago, but we have done it in style. I'm going to take Silas off because give Pinamonti a run out. And yeah, well, we can play the next game with absolutely no fear whatsoever. And there we go, 4-0, job done. We are in the Champions League group stage next season. We have guaranteed ourselves the runners-up position in the Bundesliga. Obviously, it would have been nice to win. Maybe if some of our few dodgy results had gone our way, then we could have done it. But it's always going to be difficult in a league with Bayern Munich, and Dortmund couldn't live up to it this season. Leipzig couldn't live up to this season. But, well, Munich, they're just really good. They're just really good. And we are the only team in the division that was able to give them any semblance of a fight at all. We're 10 points behind them. And that's kind of the state of play, really. They're just too good. But I think very, very creditable, very, very commendable to get second place. I think we've done really, really well. Lovely stuff. Now, obviously, we do have the one game to play, the game against Köln, but it's kind of a dead rubber. So I think what we'll probably do, because this episode's going to be quite long with all the end of season stuff as well, we'll do the goals. I'll play a rotated side anyway, and then we'll look at all the end of season stuff once it's done. And that has achieved the club vision objective of becoming recognised as the best of the rest, which, I mean, I suppose it is really to finish second behind Bayern Munich. Yeah, okay. Final game of the season then against Köln. As said, we'll just bring the goals. I'm playing pretty much a fully rotated side, except for the fact that Dennis Zakaria is playing, because we're rewarding everyone that hasn't moaned all season about not necessarily playing every game. So Eggestein, you're only on the bench because you're a moaner. But otherwise, Adam Ida's going to get the start, because why not? And it's also another chance for Vincent Blank in defensive midfield, and a first start for Andres Cabrera, who we of course signed in January. It probably isn't a very sensible thing to do against our, bitter local rivals, but there we go. Dagba's given away a penalty pretty much straight away. Butink steps up and scores, and obviously we wouldn't have done this if this game had mattered, but I mean, local rivalries aside, it's completely meaningless as far as we're concerned. We can't be caught, so yeah, why not? I mean, it's going to be fun walking about on the streets of Mönchengladbach if we lose, but I think the fans they won't mind. We're in the Champions League next season, and it was worth it. It was so worth it. Whatever happens, even if we lose 6-1, it was worth it for this moment. Jimenez puts the ball over the top, and Adam Ida, from the tightest of angles, is there for his first goal for Borussia Mönchengladbach, and his first goal of top-flight football of his career. Well done, Adam. I mean, I'd rather not lose 6-1, but we are losing 2-1. They're up for this. I think they're battling to get in. They're battling to get in the Europa League, I think. We'll look at the table in a second. Let's actually do that, shall we? Yeah, they can potentially overhaul Dortmund and get into the Europa League, I think. Otherwise, they'll end up in Euro Cup 2, or potentially nothing. They might get nothing. And that is how it ends. A 2-1 defeat on the final day of the season. Not ideal, obviously, but it doesn't really make any difference whatsoever. The job was already done. And Adam Ida scored a goal. That's all that matters. Bayern Munich finished 13 points clear of us, but I couldn't really care less. We did what we set out to do. We qualified for the Champions League, and we qualified for the Champions League proper. Hoffenheim get third. Leipzig have to settle for the Europa League, and indeed Dortmund are in Euro Cup 2. Barely any European qualification at all, really, from the Bundesliga. Köln miss out. Schalke do as well. Bayer Leverkusen having a very disappointing season given the standard of their squad, and Werder Bremen and Hannover 96 relegated Augsburg will face a relegation playoff against whoever won Bundesliga 2. And we get 83.15 million for second place in the Bundesliga. Loads of cash for the old prize money. Absolutely brilliant. We're going to get more money from the Champions League as well. That is going to help the bank balance out no ends. And do you think, board, can you give me some more transfer budget maybe? Maybe some more budget? We're due to reevaluate the club's budget shortly, so we suggest you wait until then. Request denied. Okay, so they might give us a bit. That wasn't a flat no. That wasn't a you're not getting it at all. And we go straight into the end of season award stuff. Overall best 11. Not even my formation. They're still using... I used that formation on FM17. It's a great formation on FM17. I'm not sure of its success on this one. But there we go. End of season awards is the most important thing. And Matteo Guendouzi proving himself money well spent, winning player of the season, goal of the season, and signing of the season as well. Mylian Jimenez gets young player of the season. He barely played. He played 9 games in the league, 6 off the bench, and he's got young player of the season, which I guess shows you the age of our squad, really. Team of the season, pretty much as you would expect. Callum Hudson-Odoi is in there despite being a little bit of a traitor and leaving us mid-season. Although he has, it's kind of worked out for him. Although it would be quite funny if Hoffenheim got knocked out in the qualification playoff round, whereas we're sitting pretty in the group stage proper already. So yeah, runners up in the Bundesliga. That's really good. We've only had 2 seasons of top flight football in the save as a manager. 7th place in the Premier League with Leicester, really good. 2nd place in the Bundesliga with Borussia Mönchengladbach, really good too. I think we're doing quite well. So club vision and expectation then next season, lowered expectations. They're happy with group stage in the Champions League, and they only want us to qualify for the Europa League, which is I can take that. Happy with that one. We'll accept that one. Not too bad at all. With the players next season, we challenge for the title. I think that's beyond us, really. I'm not sure what to say. I think Champions League, they're happy with that. We picked the right one. Right then, so most of the other leagues are still to play their final rounds of fixtures. So we'll check in with them, see how things are going at the end of them, and see whether there's any jobs available, because we've always got to be on the lookout. I'm happy to stay, but if there is another opportunity, France Under-23s is still available because of my my sacking of that guy. I don't think I ever explained that one. We didn't take charge of the Olympics. It was just done by the computer, and I think they lost in the group stage. So I don't know I don't know what happened, because I said, yes, I'll become manager of the Under-23s. I'm sure I did. And then I just suddenly wasn't. But, oh well. So no one's been sacked from the Bundesliga. I'm assuming they're giving a stay of execution for the Dortmund boss. But these are some insecure jobs which will go depending on what happens. Claude Puel, the man we replaced as in the manager of France, is very insecure at Liverpool. Allegri's very insecure at Spurs. I think if we could get the Liverpool or the Spurs jobs, they would be ones we couldn't really turn down. Roma's a possibility. Zidane is insecure at Arsenal. Let's just wait and see what happens. Let's just actually check out the situations then. So Manchester City are champions, Chelsea 2nd, United 3rd. So Liverpool finishing 4th. They are in the Champions League, but Puel is under pressure. Arsenal and Spurs both miss out on Champions League football again. Disappointing for them. And, oh no. Oh, it's happened again. What? Leicester have been relegated. We left them in 7th place. We finished 7th with them. How on earth has the computer managed to get them relegated with the squad we left them? What a shockingly bad season. And the thing is, they nearly survived. Hang on. They finished level on... They have level goal difference and level points with Huddersfield. So they've gone down... They've gone down on what? Goals scored to Huddersfield. They've nearly survived. And, oh my goodness me. What has happened? What has happened? What has happened? Oh, it's really depressing. Really depressing. All the work we put in to drag them back into the Premier League, we left them really comfortably in the Premier League. It's not like we just survived. We finished in 7th place, and I'm actually quite offended that the computer has just mucked up so badly and got them relegated again. That doesn't make any sense. That was not a side that was due for relegation. We were, let's check Cambridge while we're here. Oh, look at that playoff final against Bristol Rovers, having finished 5th in League One. Lee Johnston doing some good work. Well done, Lee. You're potentially going to get Cambridge back into the Championship. Well, at least one of them is going okay. Do Venezuela, do they not exist anymore? Oh no, good. They still exist. That's something. How are they doing for World Cup qualification? I mean, better than we did. Well, there we go. The Rangers job's available. That's the big one. And Hibs as well. But no, Liverpool have sacked Claude Puel and Tottenham have sacked Massimiliano Allegri. But I mean, we're in the Champions League with Mönchengladbach, come what may. But that is the kind of job you just cannot turn down. We're going to apply for both of them. Obviously, Spurs are not even in the Europa League, which is not ideal. But we have to apply for both these jobs. Two colossally massive jobs in our native England. I'm very happy to stay at Mönchengladbach. Don't get me wrong, but in a save like this, where we want to become, really, I'm going to say it now, we want to become, if possible, the greatest manager of all time. Get that achievement, the greatest manager of all time. And the best way for us to do that is to be at a club that is capable of winning consistent trophies, particularly league titles, and just being at as many of those clubs as possible. We've come to Mönchengladbach. We've done really, really well. We've had a fantastic season, which will certainly give us a few points towards that. But we haven't won a trophy, and I don't think, unless we win the DFB Pokal, we're not going to beat Bayern Munich with the team we've got necessarily. I don't mind if we stay. If we don't get another job, I'm absolutely happy to stay. No worries at all. But I think with Liverpool and Spurs, we've got to apply for them. Right then, Eintracht Frankfurt have won the DFB Pokal. It was there for the taking. Dortmund got knocked out. Bayern got knocked out, but we got knocked out by Hamburg. The important question, though, oh, for goodness sake, Bristol Rovers beating Cambridge United on penalties to win the League One playoff final. It's another season in League One for Cambridge, but at least it's better than in League Two. Right then, any other vacancies? Well, Marseille, the only vacancy in Ligue 1. The Napoli job is, though, available. We are absolutely going to apply for that one too. I think that is definitely another kind of job that I think I'd be prepared to leave Mönchengladbach if it was offered to us. We'll have to see what happens with those. We will see what happens with them next time out, which will be the UEFA Nations League semi-finals, and then either the final or the third place playoff, although obviously no one cares about the third place playoff. But we are playing Spain in the semi-finals, and if we do beat them, it will be either Italy or Germany in the final. It's going to be very difficult to do it, but we are the European champions, so if anyone can do it, surely it is us. We have had quite a few defensive injuries though, so that could be a bit of an issue, but we do have quite a lot of squad depth, or nation depth, I suppose. So yeah, that'll be for next time. We will see what happens. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video and you enjoyed the season. It's been very successful. Finishing runners up to Bayern Munich, always not too bad. Silas the top goal scorer in the end. And in terms of assists, it was Kellick and Wilson and Ivanusek tied on 7. Wilson doing quite well considering he joined in January. But anyway, there we go. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the Nations League, and then you don't miss what happens next season, whether we are in Mönchengladbach or whether we are somewhere else. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.